You're probably making more money than your parents did at your age. So why does it feel like you're always broke? It's not because you're bad with money. It's because nobody actually taught you how money works. Sure, you learned how to calculate compound interest in high school, but nobody explained why your emotions sabotage your financial decisions. Nobody showed you that most wealthy people don't get rich from a salary, they get rich from understanding one simple principle. Today we're looking at 5 personal finance and investing books that don't just teach you tactics, they rewire how you think about money altogether. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which one to pick up first. Let's start with the book that changed how millions of people think about getting rich. The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. This book argues that wealth isn't about luck or timing. It's about following ancient principles that have worked for thousands of years. The core idea is simple but powerful. Pay yourself first. Before you pay rent, before you buy groceries, you put money aside for yourself. Most people do the opposite. They spend everything and save what's left. Clason's framework teaches you 7 laws of money that the wealthiest people in Babylon used. One of them, make your money work for you through investments, not just by trading your time for wages. Readers often say this book feels almost too simple when you first read it. But that's the point. Wealth isn't complicated. We just make it complicated with poor habits and worse psychology. This book is perfect for someone starting from scratch who needs permission to prioritize themselves. Now, if you've been saving but you're still confused about where your money should actually go, this next book will clarify everything. A Random Walk Down Wall Street by Burton Malkiel. The author spent decades studying how professional investors actually perform. And here's what he found. Most of them don't beat the market. Year after year, the average investor underperforms. Why? Because they chase trends, they panic sell during downturns, and they pay fees to people who don't add value. Malkiel argues for a radical strategy. Stop trying to beat the market. Instead, buy low-cost index funds and hold them for decades. This isn't boring advice. It's mathematically proven advice. The book explains how market psychology works, why bubbles form, and how ordinary people who ignore the noise end up wealthier than traders checking prices every hour. This is essential reading if you felt overwhelmed by investing jargon, or if you've ever wondered if a financial advisor is actually helping you or just collecting commissions. But here's the problem. Even if you understand investing strategy, your emotions will try to sabotage you. Which brings us to the book that explains why. Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. This book isn't technically about finance, but it's the foundation for understanding why you make bad money decisions. Kahneman, a Nobel Prize winner, spent 50 years researching human decision-making. He discovered that your brain has 2 systems. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional. System 2 is slow, deliberate, logical. When you see your investments drop 20%, System 1 panics and wants to sell. System 2 knows you should hold. The book teaches you about cognitive biases like loss aversion, anchoring, and overconfidence that sabotage financial decisions. Readers often say understanding these biases changes how they react to market news. Instead of panicking, they recognize that panic is just their System 1 brain trying to protect them. This book is essential if you want to understand the psychological side of investing. Knowledge alone won't save you. You need to understand how your mind tricks you. Now, once you understand psychology and you have an investing strategy, the next question becomes, how do I actually build wealth as an average person without a trust fund? The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley and William Danko. The author surveyed thousands of millionaires and found something surprising. Most of them don't live in mansions. Most of them don't drive Ferraris. They live in ordinary houses and drive ordinary cars. What they actually do is live well below their means. They spend money intentionally. They build wealth through discipline and time, not through fancy lifestyle choices. The book breaks down the habits that millionaires share. They track their spending, they invest consistently regardless of market conditions, and they avoid lifestyle inflation when they get raises. One powerful concept is the difference between income and wealth. High income doesn't equal wealth. A doctor earning $500,000 a year who spends $480,000 is not building wealth. An accountant earning $100,000 who spends $60,000 is building real wealth. This book is perfect if you feel like you should be further ahead given your income, or if you're tired of the pressure to look rich. Finally, if you want to understand the bigger picture of how money and markets actually work, this last book connects all the pieces. The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. This book is often called the Bible of investing. Graham taught Warren Buffett, and Buffett calls it the best investment book ever written. The core concept is margin of safety. When you buy a stock or any investment, you want to buy it at a discount to its true value. This gives you a cushion if you're wrong. Graham breaks down the difference between investing and speculating. Investing means analyzing a company's fundamentals and buying when the price is lower than the value. Speculating means buying because you think the price will go up. Most people speculate without realizing it. The book teaches you how to think like an actual investor, not a gambler. It's technical in places, but the philosophy is timeless. Readers often say this book changed which stocks they choose and gave them patience to wait for good opportunities instead of jumping into every hot trend. This book is for someone ready to move beyond basic index fund investing and actually understand how to evaluate investments. Here's what these 5 books all have in common. They all argue that wealth isn't a mystery. It's not about earning more or getting lucky. It's about understanding principles, controlling your psychology, and staying disciplined over decades. The Richest Man in Babylon gives you the foundational habits. A Random Walk teaches you the smartest strategy. Thinking, Fast and Slow explains your psychology. The Millionaire Next Door shows you what actually works in real life. And The Intelligent Investor teaches you how to think like a real investor. You don't need to read all 5, but pick one based on where you are right now. If you're just starting to take money seriously, start with The Richest Man in Babylon. If you're ready to invest, start with A Random Walk. If you want to understand why you make bad decisions, start with Thinking Fast and Slow. If you're earning good money but not building wealth, start with The Millionaire Next Door. If you want to become a serious investor, start with The Intelligent Investor. The links to all these books are in the description. Start with one. Read it. Let it sit for a few weeks. Then come back to your second choice. This isn't about speed. It's about actually absorbing ideas and changing your behavior. That's how these books actually change lives. If this helped you figure out which book to read next, subscribe. We're breaking down the best nonfiction ideas every week.